verse 11. Because here's the thing. Well, we'll get to it. Chapter 6, verse 11. Stand to your feet when you have it. Nehemiah, chapter 6, verse 11. And it reads, "And I said, should such a man as I flee? And who is there that being as I am would go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in.
My God.
Should such a man as I flee? And who is there that being as I am would go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in." Amen. The word of the Lord is blessed. You may take your seats. Amen. Happy New Year to everybody. I didn't get a chance to see you all at Watch Night service. Amen. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. If you weren't at Watch Night, you missed a treat. Amen. The Lord blessed, as we heard from Evangelists Mathis, Evangelist King, amen, Evangelist Taylor, amen, as they brought a word to us, amen. We enjoyed ourselves, but I found something out later. I found out what Watch Night was about. Watch Night was not just about bringing in the new year. I found this out.
That's right.
That the idea, they called it Watch Night in 1865. The first time they ever used the word Watch Night. Well, 63, pardon me. The first time they ever really used the word Watch Night. And because that was the night that Abraham Lincoln promised to sign the Emancipation Proclamation. Right. And so that night, what they was doing was they was watching to see was Abraham going to do what he said he was going to do. Right. So they was watching. They were praying and they were watching. They were praying and they entered the next year with expectations of good things. That's what Watch Night was about. It wasn't about singing and praying. It was about looking into the future with expectation of what God is going to do.
There you go.
And so Watch Night here at the Greater Bethesda Church, every Watch Night we're going to look with expectation to the coming years, what God is going to do. We're going to testify to what God is going to do. We're going to sing praises as to what God is going to do. Amen. Watch Night. But today, as we go into 2018, the totality of circumstance and inclusive of all elements. Totality of circumstance and inclusive of all elements. That is the definition of the word everything. The totality of circumstance, inclusive of all elements. That's the definition of the word everything. God says in 2018, Bethesda, I need everything. Everything. I need your time. I need your talents. I need your tithes. I need your effort. I need everything. Amen. And it's tough because usually in church you preach to people who are already in church. But most people, Bishop Jake said this yesterday, stuck with me. He said most people don't bring their everything to anything.
That's right.
Most people don't bring their everything, the totality, to anything. We don't bring our everything to our marriages. We don't bring our everything to our jobs. We don't bring everything to our familial relationships. And more than that, we don't bring our everything to God. We'll bring him our problems.
Yes.
We bring him our talent. But do we give him everything? Most of us, we don't give anything or everything. And so we end up with nothing. Think about it. Do you really love with everything? Have you given that person or those people whom you say you love, have you really given them the totality of everything that you have? God says, Greater Bethesda in 2018, I need everything.
Yeah.
I need the same, Sister Tina talked about it, the same priority that you put on other things, I need you to put here. Amen. I need you to put everything into getting to church on time. I need you to put everything into Bible study. I need you to put everything into prayer and fasting. Not for King. Because I need everything from King. King had his own thing to worry about. See? But I need everything from you. So that I who have given everything, need everything back from you.
Yes.
Amen?
Amen.
Now the challenge of 2018, God has brought us through a lot of things. But it's not over. Just beginning. Just beginning. God says, because 2018 is a year of increase for Greater Bethesda.
Amen.
I told you, don't get used to the seats you're sitting in.
Yes, right.
Don't get used to seeing empty seats. Because soon and very soon it ain't going to look like it.
Amen.
In 2018, it seems like we go from one test God has brought us through, for example, to this new location, and he brings us to a new test. To new tests. And that's where that's where Nehemiah was.
Yes.
He had gotten through one. See, he miraculously, remember, Nehemiah, he was the cupbearer of the Persian king Xerxes, right? So he wasn't even supposed to be able, he was a servant. He wasn't even supposed to be able to leave the king's presence to go and do God's will. But miraculously, the king let him go. And miraculously, the king gave him provisions to get where he was going. That was a miracle just to be here.
Yes.
I need some of us in this room, and we know people who are a miracle just being here.
Hey, my God. Yes.
Just the fact I'm here. I don't care. I might not be pretty. I might not be smart. I might not be the number one. The fact that I'm here at all is a miracle.
Yes, yes, yes.
In the path that I have come. The dudes I used to hang out with, it's a miracle that I'm
My
here.
God. Thank you, Jesus.
Shouldn't be down Lord. They don't got Lord no more. Wherever it was. Should have been locked up somewhere. Should have been dead and buried. It's a miracle, but with the family that I grew up in, it's a miracle I'm still here.
My.
All the drugs I did, it's a miracle I'm still. Some of us are just like Nehemiah. It's a miracle that I even have a chance to come here and serve God. I owe him some thank yous that I'm here.
Amen. Thank you, Lord.
And so miraculously, Nehemiah is brought to this place. And when he gets there, he has an assignment, and the assignment is to continue the work.
Yes.
There were a few Jews who had started trying to trying to rebuild the temple, but they didn't have no resources. They didn't have none. So Nehemiah came with some stuff, right? He brought some stuff. He and 50 or so other guys, and they began rebuilding. And right in the middle of while they're rebuilding, people got something to say. Two dudes, Tobias and Sanballat, a foreigner and a friend. Right. One of them, Tobias, knew Nehemiah.
Yes.
Sanballat didn't know him.
Yes.
So all the time, when you're doing something for God, you're going to find opposition comes from within and without.
Yes.
From foreigners and from friends. People who know you're going to have something to say.
Yes.
Right? People who don't know you're going to have something to say. And we remember here that as we go from challenge to challenge, or as 2 Corinthians 3:18 puts it, it says, but we all with open face, beholding as in the glass the glory of God, are changed into the same image from glory to glory. That's how we move in God. We go from glory to glory. The ride with God's like a roller coaster. We go up and we go down, but we keep on moving. We go up and we go down, but we keep on moving. And every time, you know, I don't know, when you ride on the roller coasters, one of the things that my oldest son, BJ, I don't know how, but he loves roller coasters. Ever since he's little. I'm not that thrilled with him. His mother won't even get on him no more. But he loved, the bigger it is, BJ run to the biggest one first. We ride up in the park like he looking like, oh. I'm like, okay. Right? He run right to it. But and so I've been on the ride with BJ trying to look like I'm not scared, praise God. When you the daddy, you can't be scared. I'll be quiet praying, Jesus. And as we go up, we understand that sometimes when you sit in the front, you don't have time to be scared.
That's right.
You go down for you. But he liked to sit near where you can see other people going. And you already see, so you going up and you see them coming down. They screaming. They're already facing fear as you approach. That's somehow making it a little bit scarier that you have heard them screaming already. Right? And then you start screaming, you ain't even got there yet. Right? Y'all laughing. God said that's the same way it is with him. As people go through things that you know you have to go through, you start screaming even before you get there.
My God, my God.
And so, as we go through glory to glory, as we go from thing to thing, we're screaming about events that we haven't had.
Yes, yes.
We're worrying about stuff that ain't even affected us.
Right.
We're crying over sicknesses we ain't got. We're crying over broken marriages and we ain't in no broken marriage.
Yes, amen. Yes.
So the only permanent victory is in Jesus.
Yes.
Satan gonna keep on putting hills in your way.
Yes.
He's always gonna be another screen coming. Right? They got the nerve. The boy wanted to do it in the dark. One of them robbers in the dark. I said, you know what? I'm scared. Daddy's scared. That's my real. At some point, you got to just admit it. He's the Lord. Amen. Now, go back to the text. Because when the devil can't stop you, what he tries to do is scare you.
Yes. Yes.
When he cannot stop you, what he tries to do is scare you. So if you go back to the text, with me to verse 9. Oh no, wait, go to verse 8. Verse 8. He says here, what had happened, Sister Jennifer? They had sent a letter to Nehemiah. They tried to get him to come down off the wall, and he wouldn't come. They couldn't trick him. So then they tried to get official with it.
Yes.
And send him a letter saying, you have to come down. Right. And then he still wouldn't come. So then somebody sent him what they call an open letter saying, yeah, I know what you're really trying to do. You're trying to make a kingdom for yourself. All of them, see, all these people, when they finish this wall, they're going to say, oh, Nehemiah, you so cute. You should be the leader. Right? That's why you're doing it. See, I know what you're really up to. That's what the letter said. A whole lot of us fall for that one. A whole lot of us fall for that one at dinner tables. You know what? We know what you really just want to be a wonder. You think you're cute, Taylor. That's why you don't. Now, but he says in verse 8, then I said unto him, saying, there are no such things done as thou sayest, but thou feignest them out of thy own heart. It ain't no they, it's you.
That's right.
They ain't said nothing. There is no they.
Right.
It's you.
It's you.
Right? They said that you shouldn't do this. Who is they? It ain't no they. It's you. Right.
Young people need to hear that.
Now, y'all, I need to understand that. Everybody. There is no everybody.
That's right.
Everybody going to a party. You know, everybody not going to be there because you ain't going to be there.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
They all, everybody, They, right?
Right.
He said that, but it's you feignest that out of your own heart, he said. For they all made us afraid, saying their hands shall be weakened from the work, that it be not done. Now therefore, God, strengthen my hands. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to stop, so you try to get people to rumors and gossip about me, so I'll stop what I'm doing.
Yes, that's right. That's
Right? How many? My God,
yes,
my God. When I was working over Benjamin Stoddard, I knew a little girl who was an A student. Right? And she would not bring books home because she didn't want nobody to see her studying.
My.
She asked me for 2 history books so she could take one and leave it home so people wouldn't see her carrying books home.
My.
She was trying to be secret smart. How many of us were trying to be secret saints? How many of us want the power of God in our lives, but we don't want nobody to see us? I want to look the same and do this. My God. Because we're afraid of what it ain't no they, what they gonna say. Right. We're afraid. We're afraid of what our friends might think of us if they see us following God. Wait, you used to be my man. You was my get high buddy. Now you at church? Come on, man. That church ain't real. Come on, for real. So I'm going to stop going because I don't want them to think that I am better than them.
My God.
And then the work gets weakened.
Yes.
The work don't get done. The assignment, everything God needs from you doesn't get done because you're worried about what they say.
Yes.
And so he prayed in verse 9. He says, now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. Strengthen up my hands, my God. Now, in verse 10 he says, afterward, I came into the house of Shemaiah, the son of Delai, the son of Mehetabeel, who was shut up. And he said, let us meet together in the house of God, within the temple. And let us shut the doors of the temple, for they will come to slay thee. Yea, in the night will they come to slay thee. This is where, now this is where I am in my life, if I can be honest. You see, Shemaiah was a preacher. Not only was he a preacher, he was considered by all to be a holy man. The Bible says that he was shut up. That means he lived in the church. He lived in a little room off to the side. He was for real saved. He had to speak for God because he was always at church. He had to be godly because his clothes was the right length. He had to be godly because his haircut was right. Because he looked the part and he talked the part and he was always in the right place. So he had to be godly. So they sent this one to Nehemiah, one who was without reproach. And he says, hey Nehemiah, come on into the temple with me so that we can talk, because they're going to get you. If you stay out of the church, they're going to get you. I hear what they're saying about you, Nehemiah. And if you step out of the church, let's go in the temple and shut ourselves in that we be protected. Told y'all one of these days I'm going to preach a message called Church Mice. And how some of us are hiding in the church because we're scared of the devil in the streets.
My God.
A whole lot of people, we think if we stay in church every day, all day, that we'll be safe from the devil.
Oh my God.
The devil came to church, he rode with you.
That's right. Yeah.
Some of us is sitting next to the devil. Some of us drove the devil. Some of us even waited to make sure the devil came.
My God, help us, God.
And we act like the devil ain't in church. We act like we can hide and we safe because we sit in the pew. That's what Shemaiah said, come on in. Let's go into church.
Yeah.
Let's be safe in here. And let all of those people out there, let the evil be out there, and let the holiness be in here.
Jesus.
I see what you're doing, and I see you're building a wall. So, but come on in, because they're not going to understand you out there. They're not going to hear you out there. Come on in here. Now, discernment. The word discernment is the ability to judge matters according to God's view and not according to their outward appearance. The question becomes, do you have discernment? Can you look at things from God's view? Because when you look at things from God's view, the perspective changes. Way back, most of y'all in here are too young to know this, but back in 1975, Diana Ross did a movie where she played a girl named Tracy Chambers, who became a model named Mahogany. Right, with Billy D. And y'all remember Mahogany? Some of y'all, I don't remember too young. Mahogany. And one of the things, and she found out as she became famous, she came from humble beginnings, and as she becomes famous, she realizes fame ain't all that it was cracked up to be. Especially if you have the one to share it with. Remember that? That was really deep. Right now. But the main question that came from that movie came in the song that was the title track to the movie, and it said, do you know where you're going to?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Holy Ghost. Do you know where you're going to? See, all this time in 2018, we want God be calling upon us to move, and other people are going to try to get us to move, but do you know where you're going to? Are you moving just to move, or do you know where you're going to? That would be the message, the title of this message. Do you know where you're going to? Oh my God. You got to understand, see, God will never give us more than we can handle. But he does give us tests. We do have to go up and down. Right? But he understands that the ups are going to be high and the downs are going to be low, and we're not going to like the journey all the time. God is aware of that, and even so, he tells us to go. But do you know where you're going to? See, Mother Teresa, the famous nun, she put it this way, and I kind of agree with Mother. Mother said, God would never give me more than I could handle. I just sometimes wish he didn't trust me so much. Amen. You understand what Mother's saying? Mother's saying, yeah, God, I'm going to do it, but it's hard.
Yes.
And I can't figure it out. I know I'm in your will, but your will hurts a little bit sometimes. Yes. Are you sure this is your will? Because, wow. Right. It seemed like it was easier when I wasn't in your will. Yeah. Are you sure I got to? My God. See, we get a little shaky when we don't know where we're going to.
Yeah.
Right? Human human beings, we get shaky in following God when we don't know exactly where God is taking us. But that's when it becomes a faith lesson. As in all things, a lesson of faith. Right? Can we trust God's affection when we're unsure of his direction? Can you trust that he still loves us, even though I don't know where I'm going to? I don't know the things that life is showing you. Right. Right? But I know that if I am with you, God, that he's going to work it out.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So it doesn't matter where I am, because the safest place in the whole world is in the will of God.
Yes.
I'd rather be in the middle of a battlefield in Afghanistan in the will of God.
Yeah. Will of God. Amen.
Than in a secured mansion outside the will of God.
My.
I'd rather, my God, I'd rather be in a jungle half naked feeding God's people in the will of God than in a fine restaurant with food at my disposal outside of the will of God.
Yes.
See, because I understand his affection even when I don't understand his direction.
Right.
And when you figure that part out, it don't matter as long as I'm with you. That's how my wife and I, we've been married a long time now by today's standards. As long as we together, it really doesn't matter where we are.
Yes.
We've been a lot of places. We've been to Denny's. She won't go to Denny's, Jazz. She won't go no more. We used to have fun at Denny's as long as we was together. She won't go. Right? We've been to the fancy restaurants, Romeo and Juliet. McCormick and Schmidt, the seafood she liked. We've had dinners at the finest resorts in Mexico. Didn't matter as long as we were together, because we started with nothing. We started with just me and her splitting sandwiches. That's why y'all laughing. I'm telling you. This is the real for real. Amen. And so it was in those times of nothing that I got to know my wife.
Yes, that's right.
It was in those times of nothing that I got to know my best friend. She don't always tell me what I like, but she tells me what I need.
That's right.
I can trust her. My heart doth dwell safely with her, my wife.
Yeah.
Right? But it took some time, some up and some down, and it took some all of that stuff.
Yes.
And I realize now, it don't matter where I am, I'm still married to my wife.
That's right. Yes.
I remember one time we went to the gym, and I took my wedding ring off the left, right? And then I was walking to the guy, and was like, "You don't have your wedding ring?" I said, "It's in the bag. I'm still married."
Yeah.
Then I thought of my wife and ran and got the ring. You get what I'm saying? The connection was there. So many of us think that outside things make us connected to God. We think we're connected to God because of the way we sing. We think we're connected to God because of the way we baptize folk. We're connected to God because of the way we dress or the name on the outside of our church. We think that these things make us connected to God. That was what Shemaiah thought. Shemaiah thought, Nehemiah, we have a connection if we go in this room.
Yes.
He said, come on, let's go into the temple
Right.
and then shut ourselves in. Temples was never designed to be shut out places. Churches are never designed to be shut out places.
Yes.
There should never be, you can't come in this church. Loose here. I don't care who you are, what you've done, where you've been through. The altar is for you. This ain't my altar. This belongs to you.
Yes,
This you can't. This is a black church. What? Do you mean if a soul that's in a white man comes in, he can't come in your church? If a Muslim man comes in, he can't come in your church? It ain't your church. See, when you think you're safe in a room.
That's right.
Because this ain't the church.
That's right.
I've been saying that, maybe I'm just redundant. This ain't the church.
That's right, not the building.
We are the church.
Amen.
My God. And if it was going to be exclusive, if God had any rules of exclusion, I wouldn't have got in.
That's right. Amen.
Because when I get to heaven, I know some of y'all going to be looking, how did you get here? Because I'm going to be asking my own self. Wow. Why got in? Oh, thank you, Jesus. Now. So Shemaiah, he goes in verse 10. He came to the house of Shemaiah, the son of Deliah, the son of Mehetabeel, and who was shut up And he said, let us meet together in the house of God within the temple, and let us shut the doors of the temple. For they will come to slay thee. Yea, in the night they will come to slay thee. But one of the things I like about Nehemiah is that Nehemiah knew where he was going. Right? He had discernment. He saw things from God's eyes. See, he had been building a fence. The first thing Nehemiah did was he built a wall. And I looked at that wall, Sister Dewana, and that wall was being built from the sheep gate to the fish gate. It started at Bethesda. I need you to understand that the wall that Nehemiah was building started at the pool of Bethesda. It began here.
Thank you, Lord.
And then it went down to where the people would congregate at the fish gate. It started at the pool and went down to the people. God is saying here in 2018, we have to start here at the pool. And then we're going to go down to where the people, we're going to outreach just to shine. But it's got to start at the pool. The correction and the building and the construction have to start at the pool. And then we're going to go out. And as we begin to go out, he remembered where he was. Now, one thing, yesterday, my wife and I, we talk all the time. And I was telling her a story years ago, something happened years ago. And one of the things that drove Nehemiah was his past. And many of us are driven by the things of our past. And even as we get older, we're still driven by the things of our past. When you go to a psychiatrist, he's going to charge you $125 an hour to talk about, for hours, for years, he will talk about stuff that happened before you were 12 years old.
That's right.
Why? Because those events affect these events. What you are running from is more important than where you're running to. Do you know where you're going to? But what you're running from affects how you run. If you don't believe me, have you ever seen, y'all can remember back in the old days we used to go outside and play, praise the Lord. Have you ever seen one of your friends who could not run fast, but then a dog get out? And that friend who could not run fast didn't get bit. Some kind of way they found some extra something, but they didn't run then. See, when I was running from something that was chasing, I had extra energy. I had a different focus in my direction when I was running from something. If I'd have said, come on, let's run to that tree, he'd have come in last. But when I said that dog, we better get to that tree, he comes in first. Where are you? See, things that chase us, that push us. See, talking about Moses. This bless my spirit. Moses was too Egyptian to be a Hebrew. Remember, he was raised up. Then he went down to the Hebrew. Right. He was, when he lived in Egypt, they told him he was too Hebrew to be Egyptian. Then he went down to the Hebrews. They told him he was too Egyptian to be Hebrew. And so all he ever really wanted was a family. And so he began to run. He ran away trying to find family. And when he ran away, that's when God used him. That's when he was used to bring salvation to the people of God as he was running. What we're running away from can drive us more than what we're running to. It's not so important that we know what we're running to. As much it is that we remember to stay in the hand of God. That's why Nehemiah says in verse 11, when Shemaiah says to him, come on in to the church, Doc, because that's what they say, Rick, they call us Doc. Yeah, Doc. When you get to Memphis, say, and I said, verse 11, should such a man as I flee? Now flee is interesting because flee means to run away from something. Specifically, fleeing is running away. So he said, should a guy like me run away? Now I'm building this wall. You couldn't get me to come down off my assignment. And you couldn't talk about me to make me stop. So what makes you think I'm going to run away? I'm saying a poem. Why would I run away now? My brother will come get you. Go get your brother. I want to fight you. Well, let's fight right now. Okay, let me go back. I'm not endorsing fighting. Praise the Lord. But back in the day, before I got saved, before Olivia, I got saved, my conflict resolution skills were often physical. And they would say, I'm going to fight you after school. No, let's fight right now.
Oh, Lord.
Wait till my brother go get your brother. Right? That's where Nehemiah was. Nehemiah was from my crew. We can fight, ain't nothing between us but air and field. We can fight right now. Right? So Nehemiah had said, y'all go get your brother. He wasn't scared of your brother. He said, you want to fight? Let's fight right now. And they wouldn't do it. So then they tried to trick him and entice him and get him to come in somewhere else. And he said, should such a man as I, you see how I roll? Should I run from you? Do it seem like I'm scared of you? Huh? He says, should such a man as I flee? And who is there that being as I am would go into the temple to save his life? Living the life that I live, you see me giving God all, giving him everything. Does it seem like I'm running to church just to be in church? Some people are coming to church just to say they went to church.
Yeah,
but Nehemiah is saying, and God is asking us this morning, are you here just to be here? Or are you giving everything when you come here? He said, no. I'm not going in there because you want me to go in there. It ain't about the church. It ain't about the room. I got nothing against that room. But I'm not rolling in there because you want me to roll in there. I'm not going to roll in there just to say I went in there. I'm not coming to church just because it's Sunday. I'm not coming to church just so that my mama will be happy. Or that my grandmama. Or that my daddy. Or whoever it is might be. I'm here because there's a work to do.
My God. Yes.
And lo, he said, verse 12, I perceived that God had not sent him. Wait, you the preacher. You got the collar on your neck. He said, but I perceive, because I talked to the Lord regular. Regular. And you know, Mom and I watch them shows, the criminal shows. Right? And she loves shows about wives killing her husbands. Pray for her. On them shits, one whole channel, fellas, dedicated to wives killing their husbands.
Killer wives.
Every, I don't know, little wives, black wives, white wives, old wives, young wives. Make me not hungry. They poison you.
Wives.
She's like, right, they put it in your Cool Whip. How you gonna poison Cool Whip? Well, they did anyway. Y'all laughing too hard.
Praying for you, Pastor.
Pray for me. Now, when they were talking in one of these shows, that this woman was talking about her husband, and she was saying how she knew what they were saying didn't sound like her husband. I've been married to him for 30 years. That don't sound like him. I believe Sister Matthews could tell you what deacons sound like. If I came to you and said, Deacon said so and so and so and so, that don't sound like the man that I know. And I know the man. So that is what he said. Nehemiah said, I perceived, because I know God. And that don't sound like the God that I know.
Oh, yes.
In 2018, the devil's going to try to bring things your way. But I need you to remember, I didn't talk to God. I know the voice of God. And that don't sound like the God that I know.
Yes.
When the man in Florida shooting at the abortion clinic with the rifle, trying to kill everybody, saying that God told him, I said, I said, yeah, he's against abortion. But that don't sound.
That's right.
That don't sound like the God that I know. You know, the church that will allow the homosexual couples to be married in the church. Now, marriage is ordained of God, but that don't sound. I know God. I talk to him regular, and that don't sound like the God that I perceive. Verse 12, he said, lo, I perceived that God had not sent me. And that, but he had been pronounced this prophecy against me, for Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. The same old enemy is back again. The same old enemy that chased us in 2017 is going to try to dress it up different in 2018.
Oh, yes.
Same old enemy. He only got kill, steal, destroy. He only got 3 strategies. You're in a new school, he's going to try something different.
That's right.
Yeah. You're going to get a Duke Ellington, he's going to try to get you a different way. Madison was one way. right? But people are praying for you. That's how we got to Mass. People praying for you now. That's how you get to the Delta.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? But the same old tricks
Yes.
that come. Now the question remains, do you know where you're going? When you walk through the workplace, when you walk through the schoolhouse, when you walk through the church, when you walk through the community, the grocery store, wherever you might be, do you know where you're going?
My.
Walking with a sense of purpose? Or are you content to make sure that you know that my location does not determine my salvation?
That's right.
That as long as I understand that I'm in the will of God, the affection is more important than the direction.
My.
2018, God needs our everything.
Everything.
Our everything.
Everything.
He needs our everything. Bethesda, we got to grow up. I told you, we're growing in the spirit. We're not a baby church no more.
Right.
It's time for us to grow up a little bit and do things God's way in 2018 and know our direction. Amen? Stand to your feet.